KFSR at CMAC present the Central Valley Ledger, a public affairs program featuring stories from all over the Central Valley with Sevag Tateosian, 90.7 KFSR.
Welcome to another edition of the Central Valley Ledger. We're recording out of the beautiful downtown Fresno studios of the Community Media Access Collaborative, Fresno and Clovis. We're not too far from the open Fulton Street. Yeah, if you haven't been to downtown lately, there's a lot going on, a lot of changes and a lot of activities. Come on out and check it out, especially during Art Hop. And why I mention Art Hop is because we have an artist on the program today. Our guest is Karen Molta Rumie. Welcome to the program.
Thank you. Yes, my name is Karen Molta Rumie, and I am very, very excited to be here. So thank you.
I'm going to practice that because I want to get it right. I know I butchered it.
It's okay, but yeah.
So first of all, your artwork is all around the CMAC studios, and it's going to be around CMAC until when? End of March?
Yes, on March 28th, I am taking the art back home, and so, but it's still here for a little bit, so if you have a chance, totally come out and check it out. It should be here till about the 28th of March.
So you have a lot of artwork out here, and so do you have like a room at home where all the artwork is? Or, I mean, I've never been to an artist's house, so like, is the art everywhere, or is there one room for it?
Well, that's a very hard question. I'm still working on storage, yes. Storage is definitely huge for an artist, not just like the pieces that are already made, but which I like to keep them hanged most of the time, safer that way.
Yeah.
And then just the materials like blank canvases, which is like, it's pretty nice to have blank canvases. I gotta say, I'm very grateful for that because that's really nice to have around and
where it starts, right?
Right, yeah, all blank and then boom. Yeah.
So we're going to talk about your art in a little bit, but I want to talk about your background a little bit. As I walked into CMAC, you have a little bit of like a blurb, or it's not a blurb, it's like a page of your background. And so tell us a little bit about your background. You have a grandma that was from Syria, and well, I'll let you tell the story.
Yes. Okay, so my grandma, she actually was born in Syria, and so it's in my mother's bloodline. And my father's bloodline has some European, and they were all born in Colombia as well as me, like I was born there. And we've been here for a while now. It's been about 20 years in the U.S., and just having that culture of Colombia and Europe and Middle East, and just like being open-minded to all cultures is really nice about the family, and that's what we like to do. So
what's interesting is there's a famous Colombian who has Middle Eastern ties as well, and that's Shakira, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. Shakira's. My grandma always says that last thing she said to me before she passed away was, one of the last things was that Shakira's great-great-grandparents went to Colombia at the same time because it was so long ago.
Wow.
So yeah, it was a while ago that they did, and she just said that, we were just joking around. She loved to joke around, so yeah.
Do you remember Colombia? I mean, do you remember, you came when you said when you were 7, so any stories or anything you remember from your time in Colombia? Do you miss it?
Yes, of course. So I love Colombia very much. I'm pretty sure I've expressed that a lot. And yes, I enjoy going back there still to this day. One of the memories I can't seem to get out of my head is when I was little, I was barefoot and would just run, and like just pick raspberries and like wild ones, and just enjoy outdoors and that part of life that sometimes we forget, just to be outside with the animals and or nature is really important for us humans, I believe. So that's...
Well, you came to the right place because
Right.
Fresno is agriculture, and it has a lot of it sounds like the same things that you're used to in Colombia.
Yes, of course, yes. I really do enjoy the backyard organic gardening. That's really important. And being outside and Yosemite and Sequoia and all the mountains we have around here in the valley is really quite a gift that we have.
It's healthy too, right? Like the back gardening your own fruits and vegetables and stuff like that?
Yeah, it's really healthy. I truly believe in keeping a healthy, balanced lifestyle. It's a little bit challenging at times, you know, but it really does feel nice and fresh and cleansed afterwards, just being the best you can be, not just for, because if you think about it, like if you keep yourself healthy and self-care, like imagine how much more people you can help and impact and give support and love to, you know.
So you came to the United States, and there's a story that I read either online or in your bio about your cousin, and you started meddling with art. Is that correct? Tell us the story.
Okay, so when we came here, we started off with pencil and paper because that's what we had around. It was a while ago, and we were new to this world, the USA. So that's what we had available as a resource, and we made the best of what we had. We found all kinds of crafts to use around the house, and we would like look at magazines or people, or like when we were outside, just animals, nature, whatever we saw, and we just draw it and cartoons and everything. And practiced since I was like 7.5 with my little cousin. We did that for a long time. She's my sister. I've was raised with her since I don't know, since she was born. I've been with her, and my sister, my older sister as well, with us.
So when did you realize that art is something that you were really passionate about or you really cared about?
When did I realize? So I didn't, okay, so I was doing it as like a type of therapy, almost like a natural kind of thing that I enjoyed to do, like something that was a way to express myself and release, you know. But I did it naturally. I didn't really think about it for years. So it started at like 7, 8 years old. And then kept doing it, you know, here and there, like very often. Stopped doing it more when I was like a teenager, you know. And then I went into college, and I happened to take a sculpturing class where I made a clay sculpture where it's like a heart, and it was like long time ago, maybe 2012, I believe. And that one I made, and then I was like, man, this is fun, just playing around, you know. I painted the face and the body and everything, and it was pretty interesting, and it was like a collaboration with someone in class. Like they put, you know, the mask on first, it was like gesso, and then we made it into clay, and it was just really interesting. And then I took a drawing class. So that's where the teacher was like, okay, she would call roll, and she'd be like, Rumie, and I was like, okay, like, that's nice, you know. So I started signing with my mom's last name, which is because my full name's Karen Molta Rumie. So
Karen Molta Rumie.
Yes,
Karen
you did Molta Rumie. Yeah.
I told you I'm gonna practice that one.
You're doing good. And so I was like, okay, she just liked how it sounded, the last part of my name. So I was like, okay, that's nice. So then I kept drawing. We were like inviting people in there to draw them, you know. And so after that, I just took a couple painting classes, like beginning, intermediate, and I was just like hooked. I was
like, this is it. This is what I want to do.
Awesome. I knew, like, because I didn't know how to like combine. Like I would do charcoal, but I didn't know that you can add layers, like and layers. Like it's a little bit different. I love it both. I still do it, color pencils and other medias as well. It's just that's how I got back on it, was with the oils. back in school, and the teacher was like, okay, this is how you shape it. And I'm like, oh, okay, so that's how you use the brush. Like, because it's a whole nother tool and another medium. So it was just really just incredible. I would take photographs of my family, like my grandma, my grandparents from my father's side. And I would just like take the one of me and my sisters, my two sisters. So during her wedding day, like, so I would just take those pictures and just fell in love that way, like drawing my family and painting them. They supported me since I was little. They would like buy my art, like a few dollars here and there. And so they've always been there for me. And I love them very much. And I was like, okay, so now I'm drawing for the world, like for trying to voice whatever it is that has to be voiced in a way.
One of the paintings out there is of two older individuals. Is that your grandparents, or who? Did you do work? You mentioned you drew your grandparents, but there's a painting out there of an older gentleman and an older woman. So any feedback you have on that?
Yes, those are my grandparents from my father's side.
Okay.
And the painting is called Colombian Love, and they are actually standing in Colombia, so in the backyard. So it's really nice, a nice, happy painting that inspires a lot of love. So
I noticed, paint people a lot. Tell us about that. I mean, is that your like favorite thing to paint people? Because, you know, in looking at your website and some of the work out here, there's a lot of people in your work.
Right. So I believe that one of the reasons for doing this is people. So I think people is the reason, one of the biggest reasons I do this. And it's almost like leaving a legacy behind. And I'm trying to express what I see. So I see people, and I also see nature, as well as I try to see positive. And my backgrounds are kind of abstract as well, so I like to have fun.
So what advice would you give to some young artists out there who say, I want to start painting, but I don't know how, or I don't know what to paint? Obviously, you know what to paint because the room in there is full of your paintings. So what advice would you give the next generation of artists?
I would just say, just believe and definitely do research as well, like before you do a painting where you're trying to educate someone, for example, or make sure you're not too biased, you know. Definitely do it with love and passion, and overthinking not so much, going with it a little bit, because that's a little bit more flowy and more natural, and don't force it, you know what I mean? Just do it with more bliss and just more bliss, you know. Be mindful, but also like just do it with your heart, you know. Do it with emotion, and don't be afraid. Like, be a little bit fearless, but also very compassionate and humble at the same time, and loving.
Constructive criticism.
Yeah.
In your line of, some people can't take constructive criticism. In your line of work, do you need a thick skin? Like, are you okay with someone saying, this is good, but, and adding their comments?
To be honest, everyone's going to see things differently. There's absolutely no way that any one person can please every human. And of course, I'm human myself, and I do make mistakes. I try to acknowledge them to improve, because they're kind of like lessons, right? But definitely, I think that if there's anything that I can improve in, like, so interested in that. I think improving is the best thing ever, and just adding. There's never like a finished art piece either.
You know what?
You know?
I'm glad you brought that up, because I was going to ask you, when do you know when your art piece is done? Like, you could add so much stuff to a piece of artwork, and like to a book. You could add so much stuff. When do you say, okay, Karen, no more. I got to move on to the next one?
Right. So sometimes I do that even in the same moment in time. Like in one afternoon, I'm painting like 3 different paintings. And I think that doing like that, it's a little bit more diverse, and it just allows the mind to have like a moment at ease and for rest, so it could just restore and be like, okay, I'll look at that painting in like a few, and I'll just go to this one. Or it is good to do that. But then there's the times when you're just like, oh, I gotta like keep going. So you just follow your instincts and do the best you can, and you'll just have a feeling, I believe, yeah.
Do you have a particular style? I mean, artists sometimes say they're this style or that style. What is your style, if you have one?
Oh, man. So I don't believe I have a style. I really believe that art should be diverse and different. That's why I believe in all artists and everyone every person in general that provides a service and does things for others, and for themselves as well, and for the growth of the world. So I'm not sure. No.
So your art is displayed at CMAC, and it'll be on display till the end of March. So our audience members listening could come in, either call CMAC, that's CMAC Studios, which is the Community Media Access Collaborative, Fresno and Clovis. So they can come in and look at the art pieces that you have. How important is showing your art in places like this? And does it give you recognition?
Well, I believe that I'm super grateful for being here. This is a great place. I'm here for the month of March as well as October of this year, 2019.
Oh, you're going to be back in October.
Yeah, I'm going to be back, yeah. And then I'll be back next year in the summer, all summer as well. So I'll be here from May till August 2020. So I'll be back, and I love being here. I mean, it's just a place where you can get out there and show everybody and share the love of art and keep art alive. It's very important to show your work. I mean, just sharing with others is incredible.
Tell us about the community a little bit. Are we an art liking place or an art loving place? Because years ago, I remember people would say about Fresno, oh, there's no art community there. There's no music community there. Well, hearing from you, you're an artist and you've displayed your work here at CMAC, and you're going to again display your work here. Do we like the arts here as a community in general? Yes,
I think everybody is meant to actually do some kind of art. I believe we're meant to, create with our hands and our minds and our souls. So I believe there's a lot of art in Fresno, and we just have to keep supporting our local artists as well as, other artists in the world, because it's just so important. It should be valued. It's a difficult job not difficult, it's more of a challenging, passionate job, where you're creating a voice, and it's very important for the history of the world.
What's your goal as an artist? I mean, why do you do this? What's your goal? Tell us.
My goal, wow, such a good question. So my goal, okay, well, it's not really my goal. I really don't believe that this is necessarily my ultimate idea. No, I'm just kidding, but it's just, I feel like this is something that I'm supposed to do. I don't really have a choice, Art is something that it's a part of me. It's been a part of me, and it's something that my goal is to just do that, just share that and share health and yoga and art and gardening and healing, and moving, the movement of the body and just everything else.
How important is some of the things that you've mentioned? Yoga, art, moving of the body and all that stuff. Because sometimes we get tied into life, and so we don't really have time to stop and take a breath and really enjoy the scene of the mountains that we've been having lately with some of this rain. We're getting some beautiful views of the Sierras and the snow. And how important is it for us to just kind of stop and say, you know what a beautiful day it is today? Or, you know what, maybe I should do a little bit of movement today.
Well, it's sometimes it's hard to start. It's difficult and it's challenging to start something, but once you're already doing it in that moment, it's so worth it. I mean, we need rest. We need to allow our brain and our body to kind of just take a breath so we can make and create and serve and heal and continue on with our daily lives. So yes, we do want to do our daily lives. I get it like a tornado. My grandma's always like, you're like a tornado today. I'm like, no, she's right. I'm just running around. And it's like, okay, I understand that these are the goals, and that's like something that's a purpose and we're going to get there, but it's just taking that time and allowing yourself to be just
whole.
Yes, whole, more balanced, so that you can continue.
So you mentioned that you were born in Colombia. You came to the United States a little later on. Do you think that your work is influenced by your childhood in Colombia at all?
I believe it's influenced by many experiences. I lived in Colombia until I was about 7.5, and then in the U.S., went from state to state, different schools, different people in my life. And I believe that just all those experiences and paths and journeys that I've walked and seen and experienced and learned from and researched, because we have such a online, such a vast knowledge.
Everything is on your fingertips.
Yeah, you can learn everything. So.
Walk us through your website, where we've got about several minutes left before we end the show, but walk us through your website. What is the website people can go to learn about you? If we want to buy any of your paintings, how can we do that? So
my website is www.care, so K-A-R-E, and then there's a little line in between, N, and then the other line, and creations.com. And my phone number is 559-349-3722, and you can just contact me in any of those ways.
And your artwork is for sale, right? So if someone wants to buy it, they can go. How do they do that? Do they go online and look at your pieces?
Yeah. So if you have any feedback or comments or ideas, or you'd like to propose an art project, just contact me and we can discuss it. Depending on what you want and everything. Just let me know anything you can think of. Just share it with me. I'm open-minded to hearing from you.
The first art piece that someone complimented, I'm taking you back, so think about this question as we have a few more minutes before we wrap up. The first piece of artwork where someone really complimented and it really touched somebody, how did that make you feel? And do you remember that incident?
Yeah, actually just a few days ago I was here at Art Hop, and I believe it was another artist came by and was like, "Oh, I'm here. I saw your video and I'm here." And like he just introduced me to his whole family. He's like, "And I brought my family, and we're really excited about your work." And it just felt like it was just an incredible feeling of like, man, they
enjoyed your artwork.
Loved it, And when they tell me something that they see in the painting or feel from the painting, and it's something that I actually was trying to, interpret. It's
You're like, yes, they got it.
Yeah.
You're like, yes, they got it.
It gives me goosebumps. I can't express it with words or something, but yeah.
So you do face painting as well. I mean, you do a little bit of everything in the art, but you do face painting as well. So, that video is up online as well. So do you go to events and do face painting, or is that just something more reserved?
No, yeah, I do face painting at events and parties and homes. And so, yeah, just let me know. I'm really open to that. And as well as teaching art workshops, sharing that gift and that passion with others is incredible. So I could totally do that.
So we are just about out of time on the program. One last question. Why should the community, why should me, the people in the studio right now helping make this show, why should we support local artists like you?
Because we are really just dedicating so much energy and love. Every piece is just filled with a piece of us, and we're just sharing that with you. And all we want you to do is just look at it and interpret it as you wish and just share it, because that's like it's our purpose, and we do it because we love you. So
thank you so much for being on the program this week. Thank you for educating us, and for our audience members that want to come see your work, they can come to the CMAC studios in downtown Fresno and take a tour, look around at your work, and then if they miss it this time, they should mark their calendars. October, you're coming back.
yeah, so I'll be back, and I hope to hear back from you. So thank you so much. So grateful.
Thank you, Karen.
Gracias.
That's all for this edition of the Central Valley Ledger. Our guest has been Karen Molta Rumie.
Karen Molta Rumie.
There we go. Rumie. I almost got it right. Next time we have you on, I'm going to get it right, by the way. It's on.
I believe in you.
Thank you. Thank you to the volunteer crew that make this production and every production possible. Paul Sarsovich was our director. Xavier is our associate producer. They're making us look and sound good in the studio. Thank you also to those listening to 90.7 FM KFSR Fresno, and to those watching this broadcast on the CMAC channels, Comcast 93 and AT&T 99. We hope you enjoyed the program this week. Tune in next week to a new edition.
KFSR and CMAC present the Central Valley Ledger every Sunday morning at 11:30. For a complete program schedule, visit kfsr.org.